today I'd film a relatively highly requested video, which is all about how I work and my organisational systems for university. I consider myself a pretty organised person, and I think anyone who knows me would say the same. My Google Calendar is something to be feared. I like to schedule every little thing in my life, and I also really enjoy writing down everything. If it's not written down, it is forgotten. My brain is constantly filled with a lot of different information, so I really like externalizing it on paper. This term I've been trying out some new systems of organisation when it comes to writing lecture notes and writing essays, and I feel like I finally found a system that really works for me. I tried out a lot of different systems when it comes to work, through A-levels and through the first few years of university, but now I think my systems for working are relatively streamlined and simple, which is key. So I'll split today's video into 3 sections. One, I'll do planning, so how I use my Google Calendar, to-do lists, all that kind of thing to keep my life on track. Secondly, how I write essays. I have another video taking you through writing an essay with me, so that probably will have more detail, but I can give an overview of how I like to work, the sort of setups of my documents, that sort of thing. Thirdly, I'll take you through how I handwrite my notes. If given the option, I will handwrite as much as possible. One, because I have to handwrite in exams, so it seems prudent to practice that, but also I find it helps me retain information better. I think that's probably a common thing for many. So I like to handwrite my lecture notes, all translations I do. Obviously, this is just what works for me. Don't in any way feel the need to replicate this exactly. It's important you find what works for you, but hopefully this can provide a little bit of inspiration, especially if you're now preparing for the new year when it comes to academics. So let's get into it. Part 1. Planning. My number one go-to is my Google Calendar. I put everything in my Google Calendar, to the point where some may call me obsessive. I've shown friends my calendar before and they think I'm absolutely insane, but I like to time block everything in the entire day. So from the moment of waking up to going to bed, everything is blocked out. So there are no gaps in the calendar, which helps me to feel really calm. And if I refine it the day before, I can wake up knowing exactly what I'm doing and make the most of my time, which I think is really important. I do also have a physical diary that I use, which is this one from Muji. This is last year's, but I just thought I'd show you an example of the detail that would go into this. I'm definitely less detailed with my writing in my physical diary now, because the Google Calendar is just so much easier to access on the go. But in here it is a mixture of things I have to do each day, so classes to attend, and then just sort of to-do lists and breaking down work I need to do for the week. So essentially it's adding detail to the events that I have in a Google Calendar, so they work really well together. And possibly my favourite part of my organisational system, every morning and every night I do a kind of brain blurt of things I need to do for the day or for the next day. So I just put this in a rough notebook. In comparison to my other notebooks, like this one, it is an absolute mess. This is just writing down all my thoughts, but it gets it all on the page so I can go to bed not stressing about having forgotten anything and wake up knowing what I need to do each day. I also like to keep this notebook next to me while I work, so while I'm doing essays or translations or anything, just so if a thought comes into mind of something I need to do admin-wise, I can jot it down and then forget about it so it doesn't distract me from my work. Part 2, essay writing. I'd say my degree is pretty essay heavy as they go. I obviously have the translations and language work as another side to it, but I do have a weekly essay, sometimes 2, so I think I've got it down to an art in terms of structuring my time. Firstly, I begin with all the readings. So usually we get given a bibliography of works we can take out of the library or find online, and then I read through those. Occasionally I have to form my own bibliography, which I honestly quite enjoy doing. I just go on places like JSTOR, Google Scholar, the library, and I usually open 3 documents simultaneously. So I'll have my reading notes document where I'll have the title of the essay, then I'll have the bibliography entry of the reading I'm doing, and then under it, based on page number, I will take quotes from the readings and usually add in my own thoughts alongside that in a different colour. Secondly, I'll have a planning document open, which normally I am using simultaneously while I'm doing the readings. The plan will normally be more detailed than the actual essay, and after planning I will then do a rough write of the essay, which is where I just basically get the words onto the document, because the hardest part is just actually writing something down. So it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be written, and then I've got lots of time to go back and edit and refine it and make it into understandable English that the supervisor would actually be okay to read. And part 3, when it comes to lectures and language work, I keep it pretty simple and I do handwrite everything. So everything goes in this moleskin notebook my friend got me for my birthday. I write all my lecture notes by hand, and I also do all my translations in here. So this is a translation I did for an unseen class of, that's ancient Greek. But when it comes to translation, I can't just do that on the fly. So I always have a rough notebook where I sort of work out the translations first before I write them in neat to hand in this book. So it's these two together. This notebook is my baby. I cannot go anywhere without it. For the past few years, I've always typed all my lecture notes and mainly typed all my translations. But I'm not sure that was helping me when it came to actually learning the vocabulary and learning what I was doing wrong and just practicing the act of translation. So having to write them down is something I've started doing this term, and I think it's definitely going to help me in the long run. Occasionally I do even handwrite essays when I want to practice writing under time conditions for exams. I'm pretty confident in my ability to write an essay when given, a full week to work on it and I can edit it for 400 hours. But when it comes to writing in time conditions, it is a very different skill. So handwriting is definitely something good to work on, and just being able to get my thoughts clearly and succinctly on paper. When it comes to my lecture notes, they're not really comprehensible to anyone but me. They're kind of mind mappy, brain blurt sort of lecture notes. I'm just writing everything and anything that I think is useful from the lecture. If anyone asked me for lecture notes, I don't think I would give them this because I think it only makes sense to me, but this is kind of how my brain works, but on paper. So this is a very specifically me way of working. I think if you wanted to replicate this, or you might find it useful, I think you need to figure out what works for you in terms of taking lecture notes, because I'm not sure this is the most effective way for everyone. I keep all the handouts in this pocket folder. I usually have one per term. It's the same folder, I just empty it and then refill it each term. So it's got all my lecture handouts and all my translations. This one is from Muji, I think. A lot of my stationery is from Muji. All my pens are also from Muji. Essentially, I'll keep any and all paperwork in this folder. And I think that's it. So that's how I plan, work, do everything at university. So I hope this was useful. Again, this works for me. It might not work for you. I'm in no way telling you this is the only way to revise. I have friends who have very, very different ways of working. So it's just important to find what works for you. The main takeaways, I'd say, having everything streamlined as much as possible. So having all your documents in one place on a device, or handwriting everything in one notebook, having all your things in one folder. I think that's just really useful for keeping everything organised in your head and on paper. And the same goes for planning. Having it all in one calendar or having one notebook is just really useful and helps keep me sane, essentially, while I'm at university. So I think that's everything. If anyone has any questions or wants me to do another one of these kind of videos, let me know and I will. And again, don't take me too seriously. This is just how I work. You can work in whatever way you feel is best and how you are most productive. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will talk to you again soon.